On Tuesday, Biden's heading to New Hampshire. It's another battleground state. And as Trump gets closer to his verdict in his criminal case, I'll be watching Biden in New Hampshire to see if he says anything new about the economy, about inflation, about interest rates, about those issues that voters care about the most. And I'll be really curious to see if Biden and his team demonstrate any new thinking to make the case about why Americans should want another 4 years of his presidency.
My God, Patrick Healy, elite, longtime New York Times national politics correspondent, covered countless presidential campaigns, and he thinks it comes down to creating policies and ideas that incentivize people to want you, right? He has this completely bizarre, completely without any factual foundation idea that tens of millions of Americans respect Joe Biden, and now they're just waiting for ideological reasons to want Joe Biden. Just completely removed from reality.
A little strange. Jimmy, CNN brought in a rapper named Cameron to discuss the Diddy story last night, and it perhaps didn't go as they had hoped.
Is there something known in the industry about how Diddy treated his artists? What about the industry in general? I mean, so many people have pointed out that Diddy couldn't get away with this stuff if there weren't a lot of people protecting him. Do you think that's the case?
Who the talent agent for this joint? Like, you think I'll be sitting around watching what Diddy do and all this? I didn't know this was a Diddy joint that y'all invited me to. Who booked me for this joint?
It was one of the funniest things. I mean, he's promoting some. I don't know what that.
Yeah, they just need to know why they should want that guy's rap music. If only people gave him, strong ideological reasons to want his rap music. Okay, this is what really drives political preferences: ideology versus identity. Right, a lecture here by Hoover Institute fellow Elizabeth Elder challenges the notion that voters engage with politics based on consistent policy preferences. Said she shows that people make a sense of politics through the lens of social group identities. Group factors such as race and sex provide citizens with emotional stakes and informational cues that guide their political decision-making, often leading to polarization. Race strongly predicts public opinion and voting behavior, while sex, not as strongly associated with political views, still significantly impacts patterns of political engagement and representation. Yeah, it's identity over policy.
So if you did the readings for today, or maybe if you took a high school government class, you might be familiar with the folk theory of democracy. It's kind of a simple characterization of how citizens engage in the political process. It's a simple model that looks something like this. Citizens form preferences about the kinds of public policies they would prefer. They then choose candidates to vote for that share those preferences. And then once the candidates are elected, they enact policies that citizens approve of, because that's why they've chosen them to be in office. So if I think about myself casting a ballot, the local elections here are often kind of about housing. So maybe I form an opinion about housing. I look through the list of candidates. I pick the one whose opinion is closest to mine on the issue of housing. And then once they're in office, if enough people agree with me, then they make housing-based policies that I will be happy with over the course of their term. So maybe that sounds like how you engage with politics or the people you know. But one of the most important things that you learn when you study politics professionally, as I do, is that almost no one cares about politics as much as you do. And therefore, almost no one thinks about politics in the same way as you do. So when you think about the broader scope of the American electorate, we'll see that there are pretty serious challenges to the idea that citizens form meaningful preferences about public policy and that they choose candidates to vote for based on those preferences. And there are problems with the third thing too, but that's for another day. So the first challenge I'd like to talk about to this notion that the American public is broadly engaging in this kind of democracy is the fact that many people care very, very little about politics. About 30% of Americans did not vote in any of the 2018, 2020, or 2022 elections. About a third of Americans and about half of young people think it does not really matter which party controls Congress. Only about half of people talk about politics more than once or twice a week, and only about half of Americans can name all three branches of government. So there are really huge groups of the American public that are just not engaging with the political process at all. And it should be clear, I do not say this to denigrate anybody. People have a lot of important things happening in their day-to-day lives that don't involve refreshing Twitter 20 times a day like I do, but they really...
Okay, so just some basic truths from someone who actually knows something about politics. Let's get a little bit of Jesse Waters' show.
Broken. I am going to still be standing here doing my job lawfully.
Fauci was the science. Now Fanny is the law.
It is a lie. It is a lie.
Biden just presents as old. I saw him yesterday making that speech.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, he's cadaver-like.
Joe Biden, the Democrats, and Father Time.
Pack Act.
Welcome to the Wild, Wild West. Plus,
here is my karma on you.
News alert, a major bombshell in the Trump documents case. The FBI authorized the use of deadly force during the Mar-a-Lago raid. This according to documents filed by Trump's legal team. Agents in unmarked polo shirts planned to bring standard issue weapons, ammo, handcuffs, medium and large size bolt cutters, and even lock-picking equipment.
Okay, how much you want to bet that this presentation is highly distorted, not reflective of reality, and that this really wasn't Joe Biden's plan to assassinate Donald Trump? Right? I do not take the following at face value.
As they prepared to go door to door at Mar-a-Lago. And they did, ransacking Melania Trump's bedroom along with Barron Trump's bedroom. The FBI also took extensive photographs of Melania and Barron's rooms.
I blame Donald Trump for this, right? He shouldn't have been so careless with the documents. He should have complied with the law. And so he brought this on himself. Cry me a river, Donald Trump.
For no apparent reason. Think about this for a second. Joe Biden sent men with guns to his political opponent's house and turned their bedrooms upside down. That's never happened in the history of the United States. And we've had some crazy presidents. This was the former first lady and a professional model. These people are sick. And Biden complains about his son's privacy, hunters. He had armed men rummage through Barron's bedroom. The FBI even allegedly had a medic on site in case someone was shot.